You know that feeling when you're looking at a piece of cutting-edge tech and the name alone, it just sounds like this highly specialized code. It's fascinating, but sometimes a bit daunting to really grasp what it does. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. It's a piece of tech sitting right at the heart of, well, high-end home entertainment and professional AV setups. We are talking about the WolfPack 8K 60Hz 4x4 Seamless HDMI Matrix Switch from HDTV Supply. It's a mouthful, I know.
Yeah, it is. And our mission today really is to pull back the curtain on this powerful bit of equipment. We want to demystify not just what it does, but how it works. And maybe more importantly, why its unique features matter so much in, our world of screens, devices, and super high-res content. We'll try and translate the tech specs into real-world benefits for you.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Starting with the core idea, we hear HDMI matrix switch and 4x4. What exactly are we talking about there? How does it differ from just, say, a simple HDMI splitter?
That's a great starting point because it's fundamentally different. So at its core, an HDMI matrix switch is like a central traffic controller for your video and audio signals.
Hmm.
It takes multiple HDMI sources in this specific case, 4 of them, and lets you independently route any of those 4 sources to any of your 4 HDMI displays. So that 4x4 literally means 4 inputs, 4 outputs.
4 in, 4 out.
Right. And imagine you've got maybe a Blu-ray player, a next-gen games console, a streaming box, maybe a PC. You plug them all into this WolfPack switch. The real magic, the key difference from a splitter, is that independent routing. You could have your game console running on the main TV while someone else is watching a streaming service on a display in the kitchen, and maybe the Blu-ray is playing on a projector in another room, all at the same time, different stuff.
Ah, okay, so not just mirroring the same thing everywhere.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
you can send the same source to multiple displays if you need to. It's really about total flexibility and control, not just duplicating one signal.
That independent control is already pretty significant. But then there's the WolfPack 8K 60Hz part that tells me this is, well, pretty serious. This is where it gets really interesting. How does this device actually handle those huge 8K 60Hz signals? And what role does HDMI 2.1 and its, what is it, 48 gigabits per second bandwidth play? How does all that data get through?
Yeah, it's absolutely about handling the highest fidelity content available now
Yeah.
and likely for a while. When we talk 8K at 60 hertz, you're looking at incredibly sharp, detailed images. This switch specifically supports resolutions up to 8K 60 hertz with 4.2.0 chroma subsampling, or 8K 30 hertz with full 4.4.4 chroma. And for gamers, or anyone needing super smooth motion, it also handles 4K at a blistering 120 hertz, again with 4.4.4.
Wow.
Now, that 48 gigabits per second bandwidth you mentioned, think of it like a massive multi-lane highway for data. Without that huge pipe, you simply couldn't move the sheer volume of information needed for 8K or high frame rate 4K without, major bottlenecks. Stuttering, image breakup, maybe nothing at all. That's why HDMI 2.1 compliance is absolutely critical here. It's the standard built for these enormous data rates. And importantly, it also supports HDCP 2.3. That's the latest copyright protection.
Right, you need that for modern sources.
You do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your fancy 8K Blu-ray player or streaming service might just refuse to play. HDCP 2.3 ensures compatibility with protected content.
So I guess what you're saying is this isn't just about what we can watch today, it's really about future-proofing your whole system for what's coming next.
Absolutely. It's built for the next wave of content and sources.
Okay, something else in the name stood out. Seamless. We've all been there, right? Switching inputs on the TV and you get that black screen, maybe a flicker. What does seamless actually mean for the user here?
Oh.
Seamless. Yeah, that's a really nice feature, a huge quality of life improvement. It means when you switch between different video sources connected to the matrix, the transition is basically instantaneous. It's smooth. You don't get those jarring black screens, no flicker, no noticeable delay that you often see with less sophisticated switches.
Okay, so no awkward pauses.
Exactly. If you're watching something or maybe giving a presentation or even just switching between your console and a movie, it feels much more fluid, more professional. It's a small thing that makes a big difference to the overall experience.
That immediate switching does sound really good. Now, beyond just the resolution, it mentions support for all sorts of HDR formats, HDR, HDR10, HDR10 plus OLED, Dolby Vision, HLG pass-through. What do these high dynamic range formats actually bring to the picture? How do they make it look better? Right, HDR. Think of these formats as ways to unlock a much richer visual experience from your display and your content. They dramatically expand the contrast range, so you get much deeper blacks, much brighter, more impactful highlights, all in the same image. far beyond what standard dynamic range can do. They also significantly boost color accuracy, and volume colors look more vibrant, more realistic.
So more lifelike images,
Or
basically.
precisely, you get a much more immersive picture with more detail visible in both the very bright and very dark parts of the scene. It just looks closer to how we see the real world.
Okay, interesting. It also talks about supporting resolution downscaling. Now, that sounds a bit backwards. Why would you want to take, say, an 8K signal and scale it down to 4K or even 1080p?
It does sound counterintuitive at first, yeah, but it's actually incredibly practical. It provides amazing flexibility, especially if you have a mix of displays with different resolutions.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Yeah, imagine you invest in an 8K source,
Mhm.
maybe a new console or media player, but you still have, say, perfectly good 4K TVs in some rooms, maybe even a 1080p monitor somewhere else. With downscaling, this switch can take that 8K source signal and intelligently scale it down to match the native resolution of each connected display.
So you don't need an 8K screen on every single output to use your 8K source.
Exactly. It ensures compatibility across your entire setup. You can send the best possible signal to each screen, whether it's 8K, 4K, or 1080p, all from the same source if needed. It's very handy.
That makes a lot of sense for real-world setups. Okay, let's switch gears slightly to audio. What kind of audio formats are we talking about here, and what are these audio breakout options? Why are they useful?
The audio support is pretty comprehensive, too. Through the HDMI connections, it supports basically all the major high-fidelity formats you'd expect. We're talking LPCM, Dolby Digital Plus, True HD, Dolby Atmos.
The big ones.
Yeah, and DTS, DTSEX, DTS HD Master Audio, even DSD for the real audio files. So
Yeah.
your high-res audio passes through perfectly. Now, the audio breakout part is really useful for custom installations. This switch has 4 dedicated optical SPDIF outputs,
Okay.
which support formats like LPCM 2.0, Dolby Digital 5.1, DTS 5.1, and it also has 4 balanced analog audio outputs for stereo LPCM. What this means is you can take the audio stream from any of the HDMI inputs and send it out separately through these dedicated audio ports.
So you could send it to a different amplifier or sound system.
Exactly. Maybe you have a high-end AV receiver for your main room, but you want to send audio to a different zone amplifier.
Yeah.
Or just connect directly to powered speakers using the analog outs. It lets you de-embed the audio.
Right, separating audio and video paths.
Precisely. And a really key point they emphasize is no latency for both the audio and video signals, which means everything should stay perfectly synchronized, no lip sync issues.
That's crucial. Okay, so it's obviously a complex device. How do you actually control it? It lists front panel buttons, IR remote, RS-232, and a Web GUI. That's quite a few options.
It is, and that variety really caters to different users and setups.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the physical front panel buttons for direct immediate control, if you're right there. Then there's the standard IR remote for, couch convenience, simple switching.
Usual stuff.
Right. But then you get into the more advanced methods. RS-232 is a serial connection that's mainly for integration into professional control systems, think Crestron, Control4, that sort of thing. It allows for really robust automated control in a larger smart home or commercial setup.
Okay, so for the pros.
Mostly, yeah. But the Web GUI, the graphical user interface you access through a web browser that's probably the most versatile for many users, including prosumers. You connect the switch to your network, and then you can control everything from routing to settings using your computer or tablet. It offers remote access and generally a much more intuitive way to manage complex configurations than just buttons.
That sounds pretty powerful.
It is. And underlying all this control is something called advanced EDID management. It's a bit technical, but basically, EDID ensures your source devices and your displays communicate properly about their capabilities, like resolution and audio formats. Good EDD management prevents handshake problems and compatibility headaches.
Making sure everything talks nicely to each other.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Avoids a lot of frustration.
Gotcha. Now, there was also a whole list of acronyms, especially interesting for gamers. VRR, ALLM, QMS, QFT, and SBTM. That's a lot. Can you break those down? What do they actually do for gaming?
Yes, alphabet soup. But they're all genuinely useful features, particularly for getting the best out of modern consoles and high refresh rate displays. Let's quickly run through them. VRR is variable refresh rate. This is huge for smooth gameplay. It syncs your display's refresh rate to the console's output frame rate in real time.
So it gets rid of screen tearing.
It's exactly. Eliminates tearing and stuttering. Makes motion feel much smoother, especially when frame rates fluctuate. Then ALM, auto low latency mode. When your console tells the switch and display it's playing a game, ALM automatically puts the display into its fastest mode, its game mode.
Minimizing input lag.
Right, makes controls feel more responsive. Critical for fast-paced games. QMS is quick media switching. This aims to reduce or eliminate that black screen delay when you switch between different video modes or frame rates, like going from a movie menu running at 24 Hz to a game running at 120 Hz.
Smoother transitions again.
QFT, Quick Frame Transport, works to reduce latency even further by sending frames faster over the HDMI link. Again, helps with responsiveness, especially good for VR too. And finally, SBTM source-based tone mapping. This is an HDR feature where the source device, like your console, can actually help optimize the HDR picture based on the specific capabilities of your display, potentially giving a better result than relying solely on the display's own tone mapping.
Wow, okay. So taken together, it's all about making games look smoother, feel more responsive, and just generally removing any kind of technical friction.
That's a perfect summary. It's about delivering the most optimized, artifact-free, low-latency experience possible, especially for demanding content like high frame rate gaming.
It really sounds like a substantial piece of kit built for people who are serious about their AV. What's it like physically? How big of it? And who is this company, HDTV Supply?
It definitely has that profile. It comes in a sturdy metal enclosure. The dimensions are 440 millimeters wide, 203 millimeters deep, 44.5 millimeter high, which is a standard 1U rack height, so it's designed to be easily rack mounted if needed. And it weighs about 2.65 kilograms, so yeah, it feels solid, not flimsy. As for ports, you've got the 4 HDMI inputs, 4 HDMI outputs we discussed, plus those 4 optical audio outs, 4 balanced LR audio outs, and then the control ports. TCP/IP for the network, RS-232, and an IR extension port.
Okay, standard rack size, solid build. And
Right.
the company.
HDTV Supply. According to their info, they position themselves as a 24-year global home for audio and video products. They mention being certified since 2003 and are an HD-based Alliance adopter. So they seem to have a long track record in this space, suggesting experience and credibility in the AV market.
Okay, so after diving deep into this WolfPack 8K 60Hz 4x4 Seamless HDMI Matrix Switch, what's the big picture here for you, our listener? We've kind of peeled back the layers, and it seems pretty clear this isn't just some basic splitter. It's really a sophisticated command center for managing complex, high-resolution AV setups.
I think that's right. We've seen it offers really impressive flexibility for routing signals, supports pretty much all the advanced picture and sound tech you could want right now, and includes those key features for specific things like gaming or handling mixed resolution displays, all while aiming for that smooth, seamless user experience. It really feels engineered for precision and peak performance.
Built for the cutting edge.
Definitely. And seeing a device like this that manages multiple 8K signals, high-fidelity audio across different rooms, and throws in specific gaming enhancements, it does make you think. As our devices, our content, our demands just get more complex, how will integrated solutions like this central hub continue to evolve? How will they shape the way we actually consume media and interact with our smart homes in the future? What else might get baked into a device like this down the line?
That's a really interesting question. Definitely something to mull over as you think about where your own AV setup might